Hey everyone, it's Cash Count again, coming back to you with a new video. Today I'll be doing a Super Quantum Danger deck profile. Before I begin, please remember to Super Quantum Alpha and spike that like, share, and subscribe button. Now let's get into the deck profile. Super Quantum cards are based on Super Sentai and Power Rangers series. They refer to various characters and weapons throughout each show, whereas Danger cards are based on cryptids or elusive creatures that have legends and folklore all over the world but have no concrete evidence of their existence. The deck focus is to either get as many quantum beasts, mech beasts on the field as possible to interrupt your opponent's plays, or to get Great King Magnus on the field to ruin your opponent's strategy with a nearly unbeatable boss monster. You can accomplish this by using your Magna Carrier, Quantum Layers, and Danger monsters as a well-coordinated primary colored team. Now let's get into the card by card, starting with Super Quantum Fairy Alphan. It has two effects, whereas the first effect is you can target a Super Quantum monster you control. All face-up monster you currently control become that level. And the other effect is you can tribute this card, reveal 3 Super Quant monsters from your deck, and your opponent special summons one of those monsters to the field, the other 2 go to the graveyard. And the great thing about Quantum monsters is that they both get effects when they're special summoned to the field, and they go to the graveyard as well. So this is like a starter card, but the only problem with this is that if it's ashed or imperm, it kind of messes up your entire play. So, just be careful when you use it and make sure you use it, when you can. Next up is Super Quantum Blue Layer. Its first effect, when it's normal summon or special summon, you can add a Super Quant card from your deck to your hand, and when it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 3 Super Quant cards and return them to your deck. This is great for recycling and pretty much getting your field spell to your hand so you can go into your Mecham Beast and eventually even go into Great King Magnus. Next up is my favorite hand trap, Ash Blossom. Yeah, pretty much know what she does. And now we start off with our first Danger card. Now this card works great with Super Quants, and you'll see why in a minute. So this card, it has its own effect. You can reveal it in your hand, and your opponent randomly chooses one card in your entire hand, and this card, one of those cards to the graveyard. And then, if this card was not discarded, you can special summon one Danger Jackalope from your hand. But if the card was discarded, you can draw one card. And if you do, you draw one card. But if the card was discarded, you can special some other Danger monster other than this card. So this card is great for, like, let's say you have a Quantum Layer on the field and you're trying to exceed something and you ain't got no cards left, or like you're trying to like get an extra monster on the field so you ain't gotta like discard so much to get additional exceeds on the field. You can send them to the graveyard. Let's say you have a level 7 on the field or a level 4. You can special summon a level 4 or level 7 Danger monster to pretty much exceed something with that card, so you ain't got to discard pretty much. And you can have an extra exceed material for your Quantum Beast or Great King Magnus. All right, next is Danger Sukunoko. So this effect is you can pretty much your opponent's same effect. If it's not discarded, you put some of this card to the field. But also if this card is, and you draw one card, but if you discard this card, you can put something to the field anyway. So this is great if you already have like this is good if you have Blue Layer on the field and you want to exceed someone with her. Whereas Danger is good if you like have either Blue Layer, or you only have Blue Layer, Green Layer, or White Layer on the field, and you can like special summon that same level to the field with a Danger monster. Okay, so moving on, we have Performage Hat Tricker. You have 2 monsters. If there's 2 monsters on the field, period, you can put some of this card from your hand. When a card or effect is activated that inflicts damage, quick effect, you can place 1 counter on this card, and then make the effect damage to 0. You can do this 3 times, and this card becomes 3,300 attack. Now you don't really care about the second effect, but the first effect is great because if you have them in your hand, you got and there's 2 monsters on the field, just put something right from your hand. And then you got a level 4 right on the field, ready for your Green Layer. All right. Next is Performage Trick Clown. This card is sent to the graveyard. You pretty much pay 1,000 life points. Press something back from the graveyard, but his attack becomes 0. Another card is great for Green Layer. And speaking of the devil, let's talk about Super Quantum Green Layer. This card when this card is normal summon, you can special summon a super quant card from your hand to the field. So this is great. You already have on field normal summon, or you have an Alphan in your hand. You can pretty much summon him, and then summon Alphan too. So you're already another thing about super quants I noticed too is that you want to have at least. It's a lot easier to go into Magnus if you already have a quant on the field before you even activate Alphan's effect. So that's something to think about when you're going through this deck as well. Also, when if it's sent to the graveyard, you can send one quant card from your hand, and then you can draw a card. All right. Next up is Danger Mothman. Pretty much same effect as everyone. If it's not the one that gets discarded, you can draw one card, summon to the field. Also, if this card is discarded, you can discard. You can draw one card, and then you and your opponent draw one card, and then you both discard one card. And you can only activate his effect once. Also, Danger Monster can only activate effects once per turn. And all Super Quant cards, both of their effects are hard once per turn as well. And Danger Monsters as well. So next up is Red Lair. This is one of my favorites. I love seeing him in my hand, especially when I have White Lair, and y'all see why in a minute. So this card, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Usually, if you have him and Alpha in your hand, even though you might not get his effect initially, you benefit from summoning them from your hand with Alphan before you summon Alphan. Because then you, like I said before, you'll have a Super Quantum on the field, so it's easier for you going to Magnus. So when he's normal or special summon, though, you can pretty much target one Super Quantum monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. And if this card is into the graveyard, you can target one Super Quantum monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot activate his effects. At all. Period. Yeah. Now we're going into our last Danger Monster, Danger Nessie. You can reveal this card pretty much if your opponent chooses one. You special summon this card. If it's the wrong one, you draw a card. And also, if this card is discarded, though, you can add a Danger Monster from your deck to your hand. But this is great if you don't have a level 7 and you're trying to go into something else. I will either add him or him to my hand so I can discard him and special summon the correct number or star level I need. So now going into the last Quantum Lair. We're going to Quantum Lair White Lair. Now in the right situations too, if you ain't got Alpha in your hand, this is something that can fix your hand. So when this card, you can send one non-light Super Quant monster that's in your hand or fits with your field to the graveyard to special summon this card in defense position. And when this card is special summon, you can send one Super Quant monster from your deck to your graveyard, and if you do, this card becomes that attribute and its level. So, and also when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Super Quantum Fairy Alphan from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So let's say you have a Red Lair in your hand, a Super Quantum monster in your graveyard, and you have White Lair. You can send the Red Lair from the field to the graveyard, or hand, or Red Lair from your hand or field, whatever, to the graveyard. Special summon White, and then White will send another White, which when White goes to the graveyard, add the Fairy Alphan, and then when Red goes to the graveyard, you special summon the original color that was in the graveyard to the field. So now you have two. Off of that, you have two Quantum monsters on the field before you even summon Alphan. So that's how White Lair can be very beneficial to you. So next is Foolish Burial, great card in this deck. And another card I use is Reasoning. Now this card is a little confusing. I love playing it. It works great in this deck. Pretty much what it does is you give your opponent the option to pick a level from 1 to 12. Your opponent picks one of those levels, and then you start excavating cards from your deck, right? And then the first time you pull a monster that can be normal summoned or set, if it's the level that your opponent called, send it to the graveyard. But if it's not the level your opponent card, you special summon it to the field. How this works great in this deck is quantum monsters gain their effect whether they're sent to the graveyard or they have another effect if they're sent to the field. So either way, you're going to get some type of effect. It's just a matter of which is it. Now next is Terraforming, 1-for-1 for obvious reasons. Now I've always just liked this card Pot of Desires, because I just never liked banishing cards. But this card really helps out in this deck, especially if you already have like if you already have a way of getting King Magnus on the field already, and you just need extra draws, like that extra draw to get all your mech beats on the field, then like this is the card for you to pretty much activate it, and you get those extra draws. So like I wouldn't activate it if I didn't like I would only activate it in emergencies if I didn't have a way to do it. But it's times where like I've activated it and it literally saved my game. So like Pot of Desires in this deck, I would definitely use it 100%. All right, next up is Super Quantum Alphen Spike. If you can, so this is a great card. Just be careful when you activate it. It's hard to do it, but the best scenario to activate this card is when you have Magnus already on the field. But basically, it's effective if you have 3 Super Quantum monsters on the field with different names. You can shuffle all cards your opponent control into their deck, and then you can special summon 1 monster from their extra decks to their side of the field, ignoring your summoning conditions. Also, you can banish. So, like, I normally what I use this card for is like to bait out a negate, because then what I can do is if I have an Alphen in the graveyard, I can banish this card and an Alphen to activate a Magnet Carrier from my deck to my field. So that's one way I can that's one way you can use this card. Other way is like you can return all the cards, and also like this card is good too if you're fighting an Exceed based deck, or like that their boss monster has to be summoned a certain way for it to gain its effects. That's good, but like the risk with this card is that if you summon a monster that can be unaffected by card effects and is stronger than your Magnus, then it's like now you're locking yourself into a bad situation. So just be mindful when you use this card. Just that's one thing you need to think about. All right. Next is Pre's Map. Pretty much you can add a level a monster with 0 attacks to your hand, but pay half your life points. Pretty much for Alphen. Now here's Magna Carrier. This is like the core of the deck. You kind of need this card to go in and pretty much go into Magnus too. So you basically discard 1 card and you can target 1 Super Quantum monster when you control. You can special summon 1 mech beast from your deck over top of that monster, and I believe it counts as an XYZ summon. Yep. And then if you have 3 mech beasts on the field or in your graveyard, you can send this card to the graveyard and pretty much special summon Magnus from your extra deck to the field, and all the materials that are attached to your mech beast apply to that card as well. Next is Emergency Teleport. Pretty much getting your blue layer to the field and giving you an extra monster to XYZ summon with. Also with this card too, just be careful when you activate Super Quantum Magnet Carrier, because it's like if this card gets negated or put in the graveyard, it's like just be careful with that. Just make sure you can activate it when you can. I run 2 Call by the Graves in this deck, and last card of the deck, I run Super Quantum Union Magnification. It's pretty much your opponent cannot target Super Quantum monsters on the field with quad effects during the main phase 1, and you can target 1 Super Quantum XYZ monster you control, attach 1 face-up monster you control to it as a material, and you can only activate each effect once per turn. Okay, so now we're going to our mech beast effects. So all mech beasts, they have the effect that you can target one monster in the field. Sorry, you can target 1 monster of like basically that's like his pilot, and you can attach it to this card as material from your hand or your field. This card pretty much can destroy it. You can if it's the correct like layer, it can be also if it's the correct layer, it can become a quick effect. This one can destroy spell and traps. This one can flip a monster face down. This one can destroy a monster. This one can negate a monster's effect. And Magnus, this card, when you got this out, people will freaking rage quit. So this one, if you have 2 materials, you can basically spin a card to the deck. 4 is unaffected by cards except for Super Quants, and 6, your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to the hand. So this has pretty much made people quit too. So yeah, this is like the start of the show. I love getting him out, especially the first turn is like bananas. Gotta put my Divine Arsenal AA Zeus out there. Put somebody, gets things done. And my normal rank 3s, you know what I mean, pretty much have level 7 on the field, become untargetable, and can't be destroyed. You know, problem solver. This I don't really summon like that, but I pretty much have him in the deck just for you know, if one day I could summon him, you know. And lastly, you know, Infinitrack. I pretty much remember him from my Winged Dragon of Raw and see how powerful it can be. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. Now we're going to the replays. I got 3 for y'all today. All right. All right, replays. And play. All right, let's see how this one went. Got last 7 turns. He had been good. All right. Okay, this is actually an important one I want to show you guys. This is one of my brickiest hands I've ever had with this deck. Right, you're gonna see I have 3 white layers in my hand and a Pot of Desires, and I have a Danger Mouse on the field and a Call by the Grave. Like you can't ask for a worse hand than this deck. But you know, it's Yu-Gi-Oh. You gotta press on. You know, bad hand, good hand. Just play. You don't know. You never know what can happen. Pretty much. Yep. So he's sending this, sending that. So I banished that because, you know, I imagine I'm fighting Tingy, and I want to make sure there's as little monster you can banish as possible, pretty much. Well, that's pretty much all I could do, and he's gonna spin it anyway, so like activate it, and it stopped his play. So you know. So the reason why I attacked instead of XYZ summoning, well, number 1, I couldn't flip it face down. Number 2 is like there's a counter trap that there's a no one's in the field. He can pretty much stop anything. So like I said, let me just hit him and just see what happens. So luckily my opponent brick too, but like this is a brick hand. All right. Now, right here, I kind of misplayed too. I forgot that he goes to 0 attack, and yeah, that was a complete mistake on my part. All right, got green layer, and then luckily I draw into a layer, because now I can like go into some plays now. Fix my hand, got Alpha in my hand. Now, the reason why I went for the field spell for this instead of the field spell was because I knew he was going to negate this. Because he was going to read this and be like, no, I'm not letting him return all my cards to my field, whatever. Like, no. So now that negate's out the way, activate Magna Carrier, draw 2 additional cards. And yeah. Now, honestly, too, I probably could have went into, I might have been able to go into Magnus, but I thought this was the better play. Yep. And I was right. It was probably because I was seeing my opponent like thinking, I was like, okay, he probably got some type of trap card on the field, so let me summon him just to be safe. And pretty much ended the game like that. So you don't always got to end on Magnus. Sometimes, you know, Blacklist Soldier come in handy too. All right, next. Let's go to the next replay. All right, this is pretty much an okay hand. going first. So this is a perfect example of me like picking what I have in my hand, in my field, and see how I summon the level 4 to overlay over him so I can get the third Super Quant on the field. Boom. Summon him. And now we got Great King Magnus on the field. Now let's see your opponent play through that. Oh, this is the Blackwing drawing. Alright. I know this dude is mad. He's like, man, I can't summon nothing. Oh, spin that dude back to this. I'm like, nope. It's pretty much like, F this game. Alright, now last replay of the day. This is so what I should have did here too. I should have used Puri map first, but I wasn't thinking. But it all worked out in the end. There we go. Activate his effects. Yep. Summon him. Boom. And we pretty much got enough too. Alright, I'm taking the Maxi challenge. Alright, this man has like 10 cards in his hand. Let's see how this goes. Alright, Raigeki. Ain't gonna do nothing. Alright. I ain't had no choice but send him back to the hand. Oh, he's trying his best. Right now, I still have 6 materials, so I'm just sitting on that, not allowing him to draw at all. He's just like, F it. That is an annoying card to deal with. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. Hope y'all liked the video. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, y'all. See you next time.